Imagine coming home from a war only to be surrounded by 22 enemies and your best friend. Suddenly, they jump at you, taking their knives and stabbing you to death. How would you feel if you were one of the best generals of all time? Who exactly is this? Well, it's the brave Julius Caesar, who led an army only to advance a small republic into a giant empire. Born as a middle class, Julius's parents thought he was destined for great things. Eventually, their vision soon became reality, as he is now known from all over the world. So, what did he do to become so famous? When Julius was first born, from the start, beliefs and predictions were sprouting from everywhere. People from the land believed it was a special day. An old good charm was when birds made signs in the sky, and believe it or not, this happened the same day. A few years later, Julius learned to train and defend himself, as he was kidnapped a lot through some of his teenage years. This made him stronger and stronger every time. He would sometimes even joke around with the kidnappers. An example of this was when these pirates captured him and thought he was rich from his appearance. Julius, who started joking, had said that he was worth at least 50 tokens more from what they had bargained. After they released him, he later came back and took back the money he gave to them, and he also ended up putting them in jail. From the occurrences in his childhood, would he have been able to take over Rome? The answer to this was no, and Julius knew this as well. So he began manipulating people and formed an alliance with a powerful general named Pompey and a wealthy patrician, Crassus. The three would soon have enough power to rule until a war began. The war was known as the First Triumvirate. After the war ended, the three split up. Julius took advantage of Pompey and weakened him by making him marry his ill daughter. Pompey, distracted by his family, wasn't able to gain power. At this time, Julius took over lands in and out of Rome, making him the supreme ruler of Rome. Crassus, the wealthy patrician, died at the same time. From these events, Julius Caesar had now had enough power to rule. Julius changed the Roman Empire in several ways during his throne. Most were positive, but some of these effects were a huge cause in the reason of his death. Some of these changes he made were that he lowered the Senate's power by making him stronger. He also gave more money to the soldiers than regular citizens. These were the causes for his death. Some of the positive things that he did were that he gave poor people food, he helped pay the debt that Rome was in, helped advance the currency, changed the old calendar, gave them more land, and last but not least, gave them more job opportunities. Sadly, as we all know, no one lives forever, and so did Julius. The citizens of Rome accused him of treason, so one day they invited him home. Julius came only to be surrounded by 22 senators and his best friend. He was then murderally stabbed to death. As much as the citizens were happy, it wasn't all that good. Some of the events after his death were that there was a break in the government, one side being the people that hated Caesar, and the other side where Caesar's loyal servants and allies were. From this split, many wars happened, though luckily, in the end, Julius's nephew Octavian was crowned emperor and took over. Another effect was that hundreds of people started losing jobs and many crimes were happening because of this as well. Soon, Julius's old ally Antony and his nephew Octavian formed an alliance and an army which later was able to keep the Roman Empire alive for another 100 years. Now, he might have been stabbed by 23 people and have gotten heartbroken from his best friend's decision, but he died with pride, knowing that he was able to take over Rome and evolve it as well. With his death, we still remember his achievements. With these achievements, Rome wouldn't be the same as it is today. He helped poor people and soldiers by giving them food and shelter. He was able to help Cleopatra become the ruler of Egypt. He took control of most of Rome and evolved it as a democracy, changed the army into an unstoppable armada. He won all the wars of his time and was known as the best general of his time and one of the best generals in history. This is Julius Caesar, and his legacy lives on, even today.